Hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I show you the game between Deep Fritz 14 versus Komodo 12. Again in the Khan. And again, this time a few moves later. The Khan advanced with this setup with Knight f3 and Bishop e2, which is basically, I think, the strongest, the best setup against the Khan. And these are basically the top moves till, wait, knight here, bishop there, h5, and now h3, followed up with castles. This is now the current board position. This is the position I gave them, and I let them play without opening book or table bases. And Fritz, oh sorry, this oh no, not that. Wait, h3, queen c7, queen d2, castles, and rook f2. Yeah, this is the board position I give them. I let them play without opening book or table bases. I already said this, and now rook fc1 will be the move which Fritz is calculating, but this time Fritz is not playing against Monarch, which was a good fight, or against Hayek's, which was a slow death, and to Hayek's, and Monarch was also a death to Monarch, but this time Fritz is playing against Komodo, one of the top 5 chess engines in the world, currently within Stockfish, Lila Chess Zero, Houdini, and Komodo. These are the top 4 chess engines currently. So let's see what Deep Fritz can do with that position against that Khan position, against one of the top positional engines. So let's see what we will get there. Rook fc1. Let's see, rook fc8 and bishop to d3. This is what Fritz is calculating. Rook cd8, queen cd8, and then c4. Followed up with a6 and c5, a6 and c5. Okay, locking down the whole queen side against Komodo. Not sure if this is so great, but okay, the game will change to the queen side if this is what Fritz wants. So this is Fritz's sixth minute, so very long time for his first move. The opening is over, and this is the position Fritz gives. Not really able to analyze this because this is for me just a shuffling draw. There is not much to be done here. Rook fc1 is going to be played. This is now a real test for Fritz, so that's why he's probably not that's why, but it's letting itself now time. 7 minutes is over, but Fritz has time because in 3 moves it will get 10 additional minutes, I guess, or 5, or how much? So let's see. 11 additional minutes, so Fritz has time here. Okay, the line continues with rook fc8, bishop d3, queen d8, c4, a6, bishop takes f5. So the line continues. So we have bishop to d3, queen d8, c4, a6, and bishop d3 takes f5, eliminating this knight. New variation. Bishop takes f5 and c5. This is what Fritz is giving. c5 followed up with knight d7 f8, knight d7 f8. So this knight might come into g3 to defend this pawn. Bishop g5, bishop takes g5, knight takes g5, or even queen takes g5. No, knight takes g5, knight h7, knight takes h7, king takes h7, and it shouldn't be so bad. For black, it should be round equal. Game might continue with queen f4, queen e7, and knight b3, d2. Trying to push b4 maybe. Rook c8 to g8, trying to push g5, g4. So this actually looks a little bit dangerous. Knight f3 and g5 anyway. Yeah, sure, g5, attacking the queen, and queen e3. Yeah. And now you gave black just a free hand here on the king side. You can double here easily and push for the win. So this could be an option. Komodo sees it as a little bit more negative, its position. So let's see, Komodo 12 is maybe going for something else here, and for something entirely different. for the move rook a to d8. Rook a d8. Maybe the move from Komodo, followed up with bishop g5 and c5. And c5. This is Komodo's plan with better position to white. No problems for Komodo. So Komodo just gives this as a better position for white. No, for slight initiative. But the Caro-Kann is really a very solid opening. So this is Komodo's line. It continues with okay, now it changes its mind to castles, rook c1 and rook f c8, followed up with bishop g5. That's Komodo's line, but it's white's move, so we probably will see the move c4 here. And then let's see, what are the options? Can you take that pawn? Bishop takes, and let's say knight f8 to cover this pawn. Be able to play f6, bishop there to... not sure. But this setup, I like this setup for white against the Caro, because this bishop, yeah, well, it's not so bad when it's hammed in, but it's not the greatest of all pieces at all, even there. So, okay. Rook f c8, bishop g5, bishop takes g5, bishop g5, bishop takes g5, queen takes g5, and queen d8. So Komodo wants to go into an endgame. Queen d8, queen takes d8, rook takes d8, and bishop d3, followed up with bishop h5. Followed up with bishop h5 and knight b3, d2. So something like this. And then maybe knight d7, f8. This is still Komodo's line. King g1, h2, and rook a b8. This is Komodo's line. And Komodo now uses the same amount of time than Fritz in the foreign position. So let's see how this is played with best defense. Queen d2, castles, rook c8, and rook f c8 will be played probably from Komodo. Now it changes its mind to b5. And what's the point b5? I hope we see b5 on the board, because b5 would make this very interesting, this game. b5 just preventing c4, and if en passant takes, then those rooks are looking into each other's eyes, and yeah, white can go c4, but here you can maybe go c5, and after takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and b4 you can take. So this is maybe not so bad, but here you can attack the queen has to move. Now you can take there. I'm not sure, but just making moves. So I'll be back in a second. So yeah, we have rook fc8. Rook fc8 on the board instead of b5. Rook fc8 is also interesting. Probably the main move there. Rook f to c8, and now probably bishop d3, but there's lots of time for Fritz to calculate this. Bishop d3 we have on the board, and now probably queen d8, followed up with bishop f4 g5, bishop takes g5, that takes g5, and c5, now threatening c4. So queen d8, bishop g5, queen d8, bishop g5, and then c5 immediately. This is also an option. But what is if you eliminate that knight and go c4, takes, b4, takes, rook takes, and rook takes here, so this doesn't work, so b5 doesn't work. So what else to play here? Maybe c5, but then maybe d5. And this break and this bishop will be strong on that diagonal with this e6 break. But okay, bishop here just secures queen and rook, so d5 doesn't work. And if you take this, then knight takes, rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes, and black is out of the woods. So if exchanging everything, then black is fine. Queen d8 and c4 immediately is what Fritz is calculating. What Fritz has calculated. And now queen d8 might be the move. with only a slight edge to white, and we have the move queen d8. Then now bishop g5, c5 is also what Deep Fritz thinks is a good plan. So bishop g5 instead of c4. So let's see what Fritz is playing here. Bishop c4 or bishop g5, but then c5. So c5, maybe c4 then. Takes, knight takes, knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes, pawn takes, rook takes, and f4. And this position should be even. No, it shouldn't. Black is better, black is a piece up. So knight takes, yeah, this with check, and here black is a piece up. So and of course you have to take this one and then take that one, and then you're a piece up. So this doesn't work for white. So c4 takes, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, c takes, rook takes, queen takes, and knight takes d4, followed up with bishop takes there and queen takes there, and then the queen returns, and black is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is one pawn up. So c4, I don't think c4 is actually working, but it could be interesting. So down on 2 minutes. See, Komodo is playing a good game there with the Caro-Kann. Maybe gets the c5 break in. Fritz is now calculating, instead of c5, what happens if bishop g5, if bishop takes, knight takes, and then g5, knight takes and then g5. So this is now what Fritz gives, but let's see what we get there. So c5 instantly, bishop takes e7, queen takes e7 most probably, or even knight takes e7. Bishop b5 is then the option. Bishop b5 going after the knight, and then maybe c4 to kick this knight. So let's say bishop takes, queen takes, and knight here. So this is probably Fritz's idea. So probably not c5. Probably something like a3 doesn't work. Then you lose the c pawn. Maybe something like b3 takes, 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 and bishop takes, pawn takes, 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 knight takes, and queen here. Maybe you get some pressure, but I don't think so. You're down a pawn, and I don't see how you get it back, so this is also not on. So bishop b5 here, bishop b5. Yeah, c4 still. Bishop takes, takes, and knight here attacking the queen. The queen has to keep an eye on that pawn. So let's say queen c2. Preparing b6. And what is white actually doing? White is capturing a pawn there. b6, knight takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, rook takes, and now where is the knight going? The knight is trapped. Okay, this I haven't seen, so okay, c5 might be the idea, c4, but let's see. Knight takes here. Bishop takes e7, knight takes e7, bishop b5, and then the move b6. Queen d2 to g5 is then the move Komodo gives. Followed up with c4 and a takes b6. Yeah, this is a nice in-between move, because if you capture there, you get this fork. So this is a nice in-between move. So we have c5 from Komodo. But what happens if this, and then taking the knight and taking there? What's the big deal of this? What's the big deal of that? Why isn't this just winning a pawn? This continuation. So maybe Fritz is going for this, but I'm not sure. So we have c5, and now bishop takes e7 will be played from Fritz. Bishop takes e7, knight takes e7, and bishop d5. Yeah, bishop b5 is an interesting move. Bishop b5. I would still go c4, knight c4, knight takes c4. No. Takes, knight c4, b6. Takes, no. Knight c4, queen here. And now I will go there, b6. Now capturing that pawn, because after that you at least get this square. But then you can push even further. And this is now not that great. I don't know, you kind of gain that pawn. Knight here, knight takes, queen takes. And now the knight is coming in here, the queen side is closed. So maybe white is better there. So, but let's see what we really get in this game. So we have bishop takes e7. Knight takes e7 most probably, and bishop to b5, followed up with the move b6. And then after b6, the move c4. D takes c4 and rook takes c4. This is the line Komodo gives. What is if you capture there? No, for real. Queen takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, rook takes, rook takes, pawn takes d5, pawn takes d5, and knight takes here. Okay, you can go there, attack the b pawn and the knight. So the knight moves back. Can also move to here, actually, because if the bishop takes it, then you take with the pawn and the queen is defending the pawn. So probably this is even better. So why isn't this playable? Pawn takes. Pawn takes. What about not taking the pawn? Also, the other pawn is hanging, so I'm not quite sure what Komodo is thinking there, but both engines are not giving this too much consideration. So bishop takes d7, queen takes d7 is not on. Knight takes, and now bishop b5. What is Fritz, Deep Fritz 14's line here? Bishop b5 and knight e7 to c6. This move. Knight's like a French with the bishop outside the pawn chain. This is also playable. This is also playable, of course, but I don't think this will be played. I'm not sure if this is playable because of that. Yeah, why not just take the c pawn? So bishop b5 and now b6 will will be the move. b6. Or c takes d4 is also an option, which Komodo gives. C takes d4 instead of b6. C takes d4. Knight b takes d4. Then bishop g6 to e4. Bishop g6 to e4. Bishop takes d7, knight takes d7. Bishop takes, queen takes. And yeah, black's position is at least not falling apart like in the other games. So we have this. Bishop takes d7, takes d7, knight takes h4. Knight takes h4 and rook c8 to c5. Rook to c5. Pressurizing the knight here. So probably c3. Or f3, kicking the bishop. Bishop h7. f4. a6, knight f3. a6, knight f3, and if I count pawns, then I see it's 7 versus 6, so white is up a pawn, but for how long? That's the question. So knight f3, queen c7, it continues with queen c7, adding some pressure to the c pawn, queen c7, knight f3 to g5, attacking the bishop. Bishop g6 and g4. This could be a very interesting attack here. And let's see what Komodo gives. This is a slight edge to white. Yeah, if you can play like this in the carrow, then it's always nice. But how to get the c5 in and not lose the c2 pawn? Because the bishop is also eyeing that pawn. And after queen c7, knight g5, bishop g6, g4, knight e c6. So attacking the knight now. Knight e c6. Knight d4 takes e6. Takes c6. Queen takes d6 most probably. What? Knight takes e6, pawn takes e6, knight takes e6, attacking the queen. The queen has to keep an eye on the d-pawn. But okay, this pawn is gonna roll forward, so this should be some action. Bishop queen here, takes, not sure. Not sure about all this stuff, but let's see. If you can play an attack like this with white in the carrow, then you should probably do this. This is probably not advisable, so knight c6, and now you have to take on e6 and push f5. But okay, I'm taking on e6. Okay, of course I will take it. Knight takes, and now queen here. Queen here. What about this? Takes. So, or even that one, because the rook doesn't have many squares to go to. Everywhere it goes, it's lost. So you might as well take the knight, then take the rook. Now this is threatened. So you have to move the queen yet again. Then takes, attacking the knight moves, and now just these pawns are just easily crushing here. This is just, well, if you don't blunder like I did currently, then this is easily winning. You get a rook versus a knight and a bishop and a lot of pawns for white, so this could be a crushing attack. But let's see, we have this bishop to d5, that's bishop to e4. And let's see what Fritz is coming up with. Playing a slow move like a6. Not quite sure if this is doing so much. So if c takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop e5, this e4, this is the current board position. And now Fritz is calculating the move a6, but I think after a6 this advantage is gone. I would grab this pawn, go f3, f4, g4 and attack on the king side, because this is the only thing you can do in that position. The only reasonable thing, this Komodo line is quite nice. I quite enjoyed it when I watched it. And let's see about a6. Okay, if pawn takes, bishop takes, attacking the rook. Rook cannot go there, so rook cannot go there because of this move. So rook here. But then knight there, and why should you allow something like this? Knight is coming into d6 maybe, or you lose the rook. So probably not taking, probably just a6. But then bishop there, no, bishop there doesn't work because of knight takes. So just b6. a6, b6, I will play b6. And now also this knight can come in here. So you probably have to stop this by playing b4. Now bishop, now, not sure. Maybe knight g5 to attack, to defend that pawn. Or no, maybe even knight f5. Then takes, bishop takes, no. Knight g6, defend this pawn. And then bishop takes, pawn takes, and b4. Just gaining some space on the queen side. Bishop takes knight, pawn takes knight, because if you go knight takes knight, then the b pawn would fall. And yeah, this position, not sure. You could maybe try and double as black and go into the third rank, attack this pawn here. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if something like this will be possible. Also, this with b4 is not so clear. Can also go rook here. Takes, and go b4 yourself. Another rook is coming in here. So the more I look at it, the better it gets. But we have a different line. We have to move a6 and takes and rook takes. Now what? Now I like to see both evaluations. It's still slight edge to white, but the other position I really enjoyed for white, so I'm not sure why Fritz is going for that. Now bishop takes f3. Knight takes f3 and knight f5. Followed up with rook. Oh, no, knight f5 is clearly directed against this. And now you again have this formation where you have a knight on f5. And yeah, black has no problems in that position. Knight is coming to f5. If the bishop takes f3, rook d6 instead of taking the bishop. Okay, rook d6 instead of taking the bishop. Rook d6, so maybe the bishop flees, but then rook takes, attacking the queen. Queen here, f3, f4, but then knight to here. Knight takes, bishop takes, and there is no... I'm even not sure, because queen f2 is attacking this pawn and you cannot really defend it. Also some rook discoveries are threatened, so it's not so easy. Rook, you can't just defend the knight though. Then knight takes and knight f5, followed up with c5 maybe. Pawn takes, and now this in-between move, attacking the queen. But it doesn't really matter, because after takes, you take there, and it's again equal on material. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 5 pawns, but black's position seems to be more harmonious. So Yeah, rook c7 followed up with knight takes and then knight f5. Wait, okay, knight takes. Knight takes f3, queen c8, knight takes f3, queen c8. What about taking the... What about taking the... That's the question. Maybe a6, takes, 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 takes. And now f4. Queen here, check. King there. Seems as though that white is up a pawn after all that. So I will go for the strategic knight f5 because it just looks great. Knight f5 just looks like the right move to me. Knight f5, c4 takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, queen here, rook takes, takes. 4 versus 5 versus 5. This looks like even Steven to me. This position. How to crack the Caro-Kann? That's the question. If it's played correctly. So knight f5 here. I would go knight f5 after this. And let's again see both evaluations. Fritz is down on 2 minutes. Knight takes f3, rook b8. Both are on 0:30, so not sure. Queen c8. No, not king here. Queen c8. Rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes, knight takes here. What's the big deal? Knight c6, f4. Not sure, 2-4-5 versus 2-4-6. Why not go for knight f5? Don't understand this. What's wrong with knight f5 in that position? Just attacking the rook and forcing this kind of thing to happen. But then you could go c4. But then d5. Takes, takes, rook here attacking the pinned knight. Rook here. The knight is still pinned. So e4. Not sure what's wrong about knight f5. e4. Maybe b4. Maybe those pawns are too strong. I don't know. We have queen c8 and bishop takes, rook takes. Probably rook takes d7 and now queen takes d7, followed by knight takes h4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 5. Why has black allowed this? And why isn't this only 0.3 advantage. No, knight takes h4. So with best play even, you cannot really win with the Caro-Kann against some really good player. Even with this setup. But you have to time the c5 break correctly, and yeah. a5 now. Let's see if black can hold this. a5. Oh, queen b7 will be the moves there. Or queen c7. Going after the e-pawn. Then f5, but then this one comes to win that pawn. So knight here, maybe defending. But then knight can come on f5, so maybe this one. Followed up with this, that. Okay, knight b4. Going after b3. So b3 and then a5. This is the thing. b3 we have, or rook a to c8. Both engines are low on time. Let's see how Fritz is winning this. If Fritz is winning this. Let's see both evaluations. Okay, Fritz is thinking this is better for white, and Komodo thinks this is still holdable. So let's see if this is still holdable. I doubt it. Oh, we have some moves. We have knight back to f3, a5, rook c1, a1, and now I will go knight here. No, knight here doesn't do anything because of g4 now, but knight here maybe, at least trying to get some activity. Yeah, but then you can just simplify here into 2 pawns winning advantage. So you kind of have to defend, so maybe rook here. Then knight there. Defends everything, and queen here most probably, and then queen there. And the knight is holding everything together, and you cannot easily attack the knight. If you do this, then takes, 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 and the queen is covering this c2 square, so I'm not sure how Komodo is holding this. And I'm not sure why knight f5 wasn't played in that position. Knight f5, just keeping the pawn. Why not? Why not knight f5? c4. Maybe. If takes, then you take there. But you don't take. You cannot take with the rook. If takes, and this knight is lonely. And then queen d5, and also you threaten the d-pawn. So then the knight really has to go back. But now you gained a passed pawn. So maybe that's the reason, I don't know. But losing a pawn like this, like that, is clearly mad. And now knight c6, defending the pawn. Queen g5 and queen here, going after this pawn, at least adding some pressure to it. Currently it's defended by the knight and the queen. Rook takes there, and now rook takes c2. And let's see. Yeah, both engines are now thinking that this... it's not clearly winning, but it's at least better for white, much better for white. So the c5 break, I'm not quite sure if this is so good. Fritz really played a very good game here. Knight f3 to d4. Attacking the rook. What about rook here? Yeah, it doesn't really help because of queen there. Attacks the rook, and the rook doesn't have many squares. This though would be a draw, but I doubt that this will be played. Rook back. Rook c2 a2. For if rook takes a2, knight takes a2. Five minutes, 3 minutes each, so this game doesn't take much longer here. But knight f5, I really don't know why knight f5 wasn't played. Queen in to e7. Yeah, if takes there, then check. And checking and taking there. And then white is falling apart, so Black is hobbling back. Now knight here, attacking this pawn. Queen f8. And let's see if this endgame is winning. Queen d7. Yeah, black is completely tied down. And Komodo is going down, I think. Now it's +1. Knight to here, attacking this pawn one more time. Knight e3. Now queen c7. And this passed pawn is very strong. Knight takes, queen takes, c3 doesn't work because this comes with check. And then even that one. And that one. Just to show you that nothing works for black. G3, just slowly improving the position. Queen e2, G3, G6, F4, Queen f8. Black can't do so much. Black has to wait for the death. Now King G2. Slowly but surely bringing the king into position. Yeah, this is now slowly but surely winning for white. Knight here. Knight takes f7. Queen takes f7. Little tactic at the end. And queen takes here. And now it's still not clear. It's still not clear for both engines who is winning there and why. Queen to here. But now white is up 2 pawns in a queen endgame. So let's see. Queen e4 check. Maybe there are enough checks. Queen e4 check. King f2. But I don't see. Yeah, I don't see a check anymore. After king f2. Queen f5. Now I will go g4. No, g4 doesn't work. Because the f pawn would hang. So we don't have this. We have king h2. b4. Queen there. Queen there, giving up the h pawn. No, you cannot exchange queens there. Now both sides are pushing their passed pawns, but let's see. d4. Queen here, king there. Okay, now it's very fast, so I will close the analysis board. They are down on their last seconds. Komodo is playing on the increment, which is not much. But it's even here hard to crack this Caro-Kann, because in this queen endgame it's just a hard fight for Fritz. But Deep Fritz also doesn't really find a way in. Let's see if Komodo can still hold this. It's very interesting how to win this game, or if this is a fortress for black. I think now it's winning. Well, it was winning all along, but it's very hard to calculate this. Okay, and it'll soon be over. Komodo is not resigning, playing it till the end, till the death. Now queen here, mate. So I only have one question to this game. If knight f5 is not working in that particular position, then I have no fears against this Caro-Kann setup. here bishop f4. Yeah, this is all nice. Why this? Why not bishop f5? Let's ask Stockfish's question. What Stockfish has to say about this? Knight f5 in that position, just defending the pawn. Yeah, Fritz is also giving knight f5, and Stockfish is also giving knight f5 as no. But why not knight f5? That's the question. Because of c4. Is c4 really that strong? It just wins a pawn, right? Okay, let's ignore this. Let's say a6. Bishop takes d7, rook takes d7. c5. Pawn takes. Why not taking the rook? This would be interesting. Okay, because of this sacrifice. c5. Why not take the rook immediately? Knight takes rook, and e takes d6, rook here, b4, rook takes, bishop takes. Okay, so let's say you just go back. Then bishop takes d7. Okay, queen takes d7, c5. Are this pawn's really winning? f3, knight here, rook there, knight here, king there, knight there, rook there, rook there, b5, knight there. It's a terrible fight, but it seems as though that white is crushing through in this line. Why that move? d4. Let's say rook f5, g4. Rook takes f4. Okay, what about just going back? Queen h7. What about this? Queen h5. Oh, okay, now you have to go there. Knight takes e5, attacking the rook. Okay, it's really damn it over. So knight f5 wasn't possible because of this rook stuff, and this is just over by the shouting. Okay, don't have to analyze this anymore. So yeah, if knight f5 is not working, then this whole stuff is lost. Let's see, castles, rook here, rook there. This is how this is played when you play it from the white perspective. You don't fear the c5 break. It's not like c5 is winning or something. It's, yeah, here white just gets in. Okay, thanks for watching and see you in the next chess video of mine. Ciao.